So I was scrolling through YouTube, as you do, and I found this incredible version of Slow Dancing in the Burning Room at the 2014 Made in America Festival by John Mayer, of course. It was a truly incredible show, and this solo was definitely among the best that I've seen for this song, in my opinion. I've taken the time to learn and transcribe this solo, and in this video I'm going to be showing you 8 of my favorite licks from the song. If you'd like to get a hold of the tab for the entire solo, here it is, 3 pages worth, handwritten, available on my Patreon feed among heaps of other cool stuff. So if you want to check that out, the link is in the description below. And if you're new here, my name's Darryl Sims. Welcome. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you're subscribed. Let's get cracking. Alright, so here we are. John is on the screen. I'm going to play and pause the original solo as we go along and pause on the noteworthy sections that I want to share with you, or if I have any sort of feedback that I want you to reconsider and to take away from this solo, because not only do I want to teach you this piece, but I also want you to actually take some things away from it that you can use practically in your own playing. So let's get cracking. Slow dancing in the dark. Alright, that bit there, that is example number 1 that I want to share with you, so let's check it out. Now, one thing that I really want you to note down is that for the most part we're going to be using the fingers, but I have the pick hidden away here because we're going to need that later on. So let me play this phrase real slow for you. Moving onwards to the next phrase, let's give it a listen. Now, if there's one thing that you take away from this entire piece, hopefully, it's his use of phrasing, and I want you to really pay attention to this, particularly in his bends. It's absolutely incredible, so much so that this lick cooked my fingers. I don't know if you can see that, but that's just from a day's practice of this song. But yeah, just for this demonstration, I'm actually going to ice my fingers because they really hurt, and yeah, dry them and show you the lick. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to play this lick nice and slowly for you to begin with. Probably only once, since this really hurts my fingers at the moment, so listen very carefully. There you go, one single pull off before another pull off, and then... Okay, so if I play that one together, and there you go, that's another one. That's probably the most difficult phrase in terms of the control of your bends. You're going to want to spend a lot of time on that and make sure your pitches are super accurate. Now let's move on from here. As you can see, he plays that one real fast, even faster than I just did, so that's going to be a bit of a challenge for you, I'm sure. Alright, let's check out that super fast lick. So this is the kind of legato lick. We're going to start off with the 11th fret of the G string, bending that one up a full tone. onwards with the video. Okay, so that little lick in there's just a tiny bit that I want to share with you, and this is a great thing to do if you want to fill out the gaps. So what I mean by that is that we have this phrase, and if you want to fill that out, add some ghost notes, which is exactly what John's done here. So we've got that's the lick. You can repeat that heaps of time, but let's make it relevant to the song, so I'll show you exactly what he plays now. I'm on the 20th fret, by the way, on the B string. Let's move on. Okay, so we're definitely going to check out that bit. That is probably my favorite bit throughout the entire solo. So groovy, awesome use of ghost notes. Let's check it out. Now I'd like to show you the whole bit, but it's quite complex, so I recommend that you get the tab for this if you can, but I'll show you a nice template to work with at the least. We're going to play from about here. Try and slow that down for you as much as I can now. You're gonna have to pay real close attention to whether I'm using the thumb, the fingers, or hitting for some of these ghost notes, because there's a lot in there that's gonna fill it out. The frets, what's going on here really isn't that complicated at all, but yeah, try your best to play, pause as you go along with this one, because it is a bit of a challenge. Last bit. It sounds a bit disjointed when it's slow, but that is going to be a great template for you to work from and develop the speed from. Let me play it once more at sort of medium speed so you know what it's supposed to sound like, and perhaps you can try and play along once you've got the basics of the actual ghost note pattern. Okay, that was a relief. Let's grab the pick now for the next section of the solo. This part's going to be really awesome, so let's give it a good listen. So there are a few examples that I want to share with you in here. So let's get the first one together. So the first one is more towards the beginning here. Let me try and play this up to a sensible speed. And that leads us into our next example that I want to share with you. But let's just break down that first bit first. So we have, and then to that D string there, jumping to the 12th fret of the B for that nice wide vibrato there. And then, so we got 1.5 bend, trying to sound like 15, then to 14, and then just the 12 on its own. And then we've got the fast phrase, which I'll play super slow for you. We have, and then we've got the next half of that. And then as we bend up onto the next string, we're going to bend down on that G string, so like that. Finish on that 9 with some nice vibrato. Now this phrase ties real nicely into the next phrase. That bend at the end is so cool. Let's check that out. So let me play that real slowly for you now. See a couple breaks in there, very important. Before the killer bend. So it just adds a lot of attitude when you do that fast. And then the very, very last phrase that I want to share with you, the very final phrase. Nice and fast one for you there. So once up the speed. And very slowly for you. So we have an upstroke to begin with. We mute the last string and come in on the 9 on the B. So and then the fast bit. And then second finger. For the very last bend, and then you sort of mute it in the middle here before the second bend. So that's actually a pre-bend on the 11 of the G string. So we got bend, mute, like that. But for the very last bit. So there we go. That's just about everything that I want to share with you today. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you want to download the entire tab for this piece, then please check out my Patreon page, which is linked in the description below. And if you learn this solo, or at least a little bit of it, or use some of the licks in some of your playing, and you happen to upload it to Instagram, tag me at Daryl Sims. I would love to see some of you guys play this stuff. I'll be sure to give it a like, comment, all of that cool stuff. And until next time, I will see you in the next video.